In my opinion, the Pentagon has never intentionally covered up the reality of the UFO phenomenon, which they now call UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, or unidentified anomalous phenomena. Their silence on this does not mean that they are hiding information. They simply do not know how to confront this problem, that they are faced with a phenomenon they cannot fully understand. The UFO phenomenon appears to me as a paraphysical intrusion into our physical dimension by an unknown intelligence or unknown sentient entities paraphysically materializing themselves to a pre-selected observer or a group of observers, whether small or large, and presenting to the observer as a physical extraterrestrial phenomenon and visitation for reasons yet unknown. The pre-selection also seems to include a particular location as well as a particular time. The phenomenon seems to be able to materialize and dematerialize at will, and even seems to be capable of transmogrifying itself into any shape or form, as in the words of John A. Keel. However, the phenomenon does not seem to be able to survive in our physical dimension except for a few seconds or a few minutes at the time. The phenomenon seems to be able to temporarily affect our physical parameters such as radar and so on, if they want to. Yet, the phenomenon also seems to be incapable of being photographed with clarity, if at all. This also seems to be the case with other anomalous phenomena. And on many occasions it seems to me that these UFOs only deceptively appear to the observer to be utilized in some form of a propulsion system, as they seem to take off into the distant sky at an unimaginable rate of speed. In other cases, UFOs seem to simply hover or float, again as if they're utilizing some form of a propulsion system capable of floating before taking off or even dematerializing. My name is Norio Hayakawa, and I study conspiratology, a study of how beliefs could affect society in general. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist who believes that everything is a conspiracy, but I do believe in one conspiracy for certain, that there was a cosmic conspiracy eons ago in the universe, which I will mention in a little while. Even though the UFO phenomenon seems to exist, so far, there's no absolute, tangible, credible documentary evidence whatsoever that we have been visited by actual physical extraterrestrial biological entities in any actual physical spacecraft of any kind. Jacques Vallée said, "Human beings are under the control of a strange force that bends them in absurd ways, forcing them to play a role in a bizarre game of deception." He also said that there is a spiritual component. The UFO phenomenon is controlled by a non-human sort of consciousness. John A. Keel said that the UFO manifestations seem to be, by and large, merely minor variations of the age-old demonological phenomenon. Jacques Vallée, making a comment about the so-called alien abduction phenomenon, he said, this phenomenon is often accompanied by sadistic sexual manipulation and is reminiscent of the medieval tales of encounters with demons. My belief is that some UFOs and its manipulators, as in the words of an Air Force Major General, are transmedium interdimensional craft and entities that can operate in the atmosphere or even underwater without interacting in them. The Bible says that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Yes, I'm a born-again Christian who believes that the Bible indicates that there is a dark cosmic power that we must recognize. I believe that there was a cosmic revolt in the universe eons and eons ago, instigated by Lucifer, who took with him 1/3 of all the paraphysical angelic entities and made them his followers. These became known as fallen angels or demonic entities. They were all cast down from their heavenly domain by the Creator. Revelation 12:9. Now, I believe that these entities have the ability to materialize and dematerialize at will, even posing as physical aliens who are visiting our planet from outer space. Now, fortunately, the remaining 2/3 of all angelic entities did not participate in the revolt. They are called benevolent angelic entities who still serve God. Some of them we call guardian angels, who often protect us from all kinds of harm or danger. Now, New Mexico is where I live. There has been some strange UFO incidents here that not many folks have heard before. For example, the Farmington case, which I never heard until the year 2010. I visited the Farmington Senior Center in 2010, and I interviewed an eyewitness to that incident. And he verified to me everything as described in that newspaper article that appeared on March 18, 1950. And I'm talking about the most spectacular UFO sighting in U.S. history, which happened in the town of Farmington, New Mexico in 1950. Craft seen by hundreds, speed estimated at 1,000 miles per hour, altitude 20,000 feet. And the article said, for the third consecutive day, flying saucers have been reported over Farmington. And on each of these 3 days, their arrival here was reported between 11 and noon during broad daylight. Los Angeles Times even reported on March 18, 1950, scores report seeing flying saucers flight in formation over New Mexico. A mass flight of flying saucers over this northwestern New Mexico oil town of 5,000 population was reported today by 50 persons, including businessmen and private pilots. But actually, this was not correct. Hundreds of residents witnessed this strange appearance, not only one or two, but hundreds, and even up to 400 to 500 metallic silver-colored flying saucers doing all kinds of formations in the sky, at least for about an hour each day for the 3 consecutive days, namely March 15th, 16th, and 17th of 1950. Unfortunately, there's not even one photo that's available today of this amazing incident that took place over Farmington. The only thing we can rely on is some artist rendition of what happened. Perhaps the phenomenon itself did not want this to be photographed. Maybe, I'm not sure. This incident in Farmington is almost comparable to 1561, the year 1561, a celestial phenomenon that took place over Nuremberg, Germany, where hundreds of citizens witnessed similar flight of strange-shaped objects over their town during broad daylight. So things like this type of strange incidents usually don't happen every year. Now, in 1917, there was an incident in a town of Fatima in Portugal, where more than 20,000 folks assembled on October 13th, 1917, to witness a predicted miracle in the sky, which was prophesied to a shepherd girl by an entity in white. And so on October 13th, 1917, 20,000 folks assembled in the village of Fatima. And lo and behold, some folks witnessed a grayish metallic ball of disc-like shape just dancing in the sky for a few minutes. But unfortunately, not even one photo is available now, despite the fact that among the 20,000 people that assembled there, there were some journalists and some photographers. Again, perhaps this phenomenon did not want this to be photographed for some strange reason or other. I believe that the UFO phenomenon is a real phenomenon. In 1994, in Zimbabwe, Africa, a strange object landed in the schoolyard of an elementary school in which more than 60 children witnessed an appearance of a strange craft that landed in the schoolyard. They were all frightened, and these children now, of course, have grown up, and they have never changed their story that they witnessed a strange craft and also a strange entity that came out from that craft and sort of interacted with the school children. It's a fascinating incident. I believe it was real. So this is what I've been saying, that the phenomena seems to be real. But who knows, was this incident in Zimbabwe a physical incident or some kind of a paraphysical apparition of these entities? We still do not know. Why the United States government and the military will never disclose the true nature of the UFO phenomenon. And this is because the government is still unable to explain to the public the nature of this strange phenomenon. The strange phenomenon that is real. And so they cannot disclose anything that they are perplexed and have no scientific explanation to give to the public. So when the time is right, the entities themselves will initiate the global simultaneous disclosure, not the United States government. Will that day come in the future? We have no idea. But when that happens, I'm convinced that the world will be shocked at this revelation. And I just don't want to be living on that day of this disclosure. Somehow, I believe that this incident may be tied in with a future unexplainable incident that may take place in this world, which has never yet happened before. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. This is Norio Hayakawa in Albuquerque, New Mexico.